TV Crazy Man here. Today we look at some crazy goofs from the 90s sci-fi classic TV series Sliders, some of which will have you rolling in the floor laughing, and some may just have you scratching your head in amazement wondering how in the world you missed that one. Plus, we'll have lots of fascinating fun facts along the way. Sliders was of course originally focused on these four individuals lost between parallel worlds, searching for their way back to their own dimension. Rembrandt Brown is established as the singer of the group. In this scene, his lips are barely moving, so he may have also been a ventriloquist. In the episode Fever, when the Sliders enter a weird restaurant, a crew member accidentally gets shot in the scene. Luckily, he handles it like a pro and doesn't do anything to draw attention to himself. You know, Sliders just couldn't catch a break right from the start. When it first aired, the episodes Prince of Wales and Summer of Love were aired out of order, which messed up a very cool little short adventure. One that really would have been awesome to have expanded on. Prince of Wales shows us the Sliders hanging on for dear life in a world where San Francisco has been flooded. But thanks to the airing being out of order, it's not until the next episode, Summer of Love, that we see the giant flood scene. I'm sure it was cost prohibitive, but I would have loved to have seen more of this world, at least the part where the Sliders somehow managed to survive. I guess we just have to assume they climbed up some stairs in a hurry. Also in the Prince of Wales episode, Quinn Mallor and Wade Wells are having a private conversation, or at least they think they are. It's moments like this that are much scarier than the monster episodes they do later on. Quinn and the professor land on the next world with a hitchhiker on the professor's back. Mallory, standing behind the professor, throws a rock, but somehow the rock comes from the side instead of the professor's back. Now mind you, it does make sense that Mallory would be trying to knock the bug off from the side, but the last we saw he was directly behind the professor. Just love the look on John Rhys-Davies' face. Don't worry, I'm sure it was a fake rock. That really would have been a goof to find out that they forgot to give Jerry O'Connell a safe prop to throw.
Go away! Sling idiot.
Also on the Summer of Love episode, when Wade Wells, played by actress Sabrina Lloyd, lands at a hippie camp, her hair's all messed up and her shirt is dirty. But as the hippies walk up, suddenly her hair is brushed and her shirt has been washed. Must have been something to do with the effects of the gravitational pull of the world's atmosphere related to the position of the sun and, well, I'm just guessing.
You ripped a hole in the fabric of time.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. It was all Quinn's fault.
No.
Quinn Mallor, played by Jerry O'Connell, has been arrested on the episode The King is Back. The Sliders manage to escape, but Quinn lands on the next world still handcuffed. Well, he's supposed to be anyway. As the people of this world laugh at the group as they walk the streets, the professor tells the men to check their flies, which Quinn does despite the fact that he's supposed to still have the cuffs on. We don't see him actually get the cuffs off officially until they get to the hotel a few minutes later. Also in this episode, Rembrandt is pushed off stage by his double, played by Cleavant Derricks' real-life brother, Clinton. But after our Rembrandt is completely off stage, we see him still hanging around. In the episode Indino Veritas, the Sliders land on a world where dinosaurs exist, and San Francisco is a park, where they run into a park ranger who turns out to be a hologram. At the end, when Quinn opens the wormhole, kicking up the usual windstorm, the hologram's hair is blowing in the wind as if she were right there, which goes against all the rules of being a hologram. The episode Post-Traumatic Slide Syndrome gave us quite a shocking ending with questions that we never got to see answered, thanks in part to Tracy Torme losing control of the show and John Rhys-Davies eventually leaving the show. The episode featured dueling professors, and by the end it was quite apparent the Sliders had taken the wrong professor with them. If they were ever to consider a reboot, at least we do know that the professor is still out there, even though we saw a professor die in Season 3. During the professor fight, you can tell they digitally pasted Rhys-Davies' face onto the double. I don't know, Rembrandt's face must have been changed by the wormhole thingy. Oh good, he's back to normal. On the episode The Young and the Relentless, the professor, coming out of the wormhole, lands on a lawn chair and smashes it flat to the ground. But when he gets up a few seconds later, it's a miracle, as the seat is up again and looking new. On the episode Invasion, Quinn and Rembrandt are in a Cro-Mag prison, and Cro-Mags are these ugly looking dudes that are half lizard, and I was never really a fan of the Cro-Mags, to be honest with you. Anyway.
What time is it, cue ball?
Quinn swears that there are no clocks.
Can't help you there, Rembrandt.
And that he has no idea what time it is, and then he shows us his watch peeking out of his sleeve. That was totally not cool, Mallory. The next episode, As Time Goes By, was a lot more enjoyable. The plot has it where time runs backward. Didn't quite make perfect sense, but still a fun story. Jerry O'Connell's brother makes a guest appearance in a minor role, and Charlie ends up with a regular role playing Quinn's brother in the 4th season.
Who's got a quarter?
Also in this episode, it's kind of hard to see, but O'Connell actually drops the quarter and he pretends to use it for the newspaper anyway. The episode Rules of the Game, sort of a ripoff of Arnold's movie Running Man, has a goof where Wade is in 2 places at the same time in a firefight.
Thank you.
How does she do that?
You ripped a hole in the fabric of time. God knows what the consequences will be.
Here's a couple of interesting trivia facts from the episode Electric Twister Acid Test, guest starring Corey Feldman. He co-starred with Jerry O'Connell in the '86 movie Stand By Me. This strange-looking ritual towards the end of the episode, called Skin It, was from that movie. According to my research, most of that particular episode was filmed around the Vasquez Rocks,
Everything I say is right.
which was the same location that Captain Kirk fought the Gorn, whom he still battles to this day. On the episode Slide Like an Egyptian, this weird-looking CGI monster grabs this bad guy, but it looks like the bad guy is moving up to the giant bug before he's even grabbed, which may not be nearly as goofy as the bug itself. The 3rd season unfortunately became more and more about monsters, with a large portion of them being CGI critters. Once the professor quit the show, the focus was on Monster of the Week instead of the focus being on the differences in worlds they slid into. In the episode The Exodus, you could see the giant golf club through Mallory. This episode marks the debut of the next slider, Maggie Beckett. I read there's a rumor that she was supposed to be the daughter of Sam Beckett's brother from Quantum Leap. I'm not sure about that one. In the episode The Breather, Quinn jumps into the vortex, but you can still see him on your right. Guess it didn't take right away. On the other side, looks like they buried a mattress for Rembrandt to land on. Check out this scene where an actor's playing hide and go seek while he's waiting for his cue to come out. And I bet he was thinking, I thought they'd never get to me. In the episode Dino Slide, a character I basically hated, named Rickman, would run around, stick needles into people, take their body or brain fluid, and then magically take on their shape. Okay, I understand taking the man's appearance, but how does he get the bandana from a shot? What do you think, Professor? Check out this giant boulder in the episode Desert Storm. And check out the curve of that rock that Rembrandt's drawing. Now either he has an awesome curveball, or could be that rock's made out of paper. Now in this scene, the mighty Maggie tackles a man-animal monster hybrid and knocks him to the ground. Somehow. And then it looks like the monster's about to roll over on top of her. But then in the next couple of seconds, Maggie pops up behind Quinn, who's been pointing this gun towards her direction, and she looks like she's come running from behind them from somewhere. Now I don't know about you, but if I was staring at somebody right directly in front of me, and somehow they end up popping up right behind me at the exact same moment, I think I'd be a little shocked.
Stay back! Stay back!
Wonder Woman!
Now in the 4th season, they had some pretty good episodes, especially towards the end, but when the O'Connell brothers quit in the 5th season, that basically marked the end for the show.
Everything I say is right.
Only to bring up the last few hours before Michael disappeared.
Now hang on to the end if you want to find out what happened to all the sliders. Quickly, I just want to thank each and every one of you who has supported the TV Crazy Man channel by commenting, subscribing, liking the videos, and watching, of course. Your comments encourage me to keep making more videos, and I appreciate you sharing your thoughts on what you'd like to see next. If you enjoyed cartoons and a good laugh, please check out my other channel, my Frady Cat Cartoons channel. I usually have a link to one of those videos at the end. It's been a dream of mine to create cartoons, possibly since I was just a little kid, back when I sold drawings of Woody Woodpecker to my fellow classmates for like a dime a piece. Now back to the sliders. We've already seen how the professor most likely was left on one world, and how his double, who caused him to be left there, was shot. Wade was gone by season 4, and it was revealed that she'd been captured by Cro-Mags and had died by the hands of the Cro-Mags. Very disappointing, really, that they went that route with her character. Rembrandt made it to the final episode, where he had injected himself with a virus deadly only to Cro-Mags, before he leaped into a vortex headed for his world, where the Cro-Mags had taken over. Because of what the character, the seer, had saw in a vision, it wasn't really known if Rembrandt survived the leap into the vortex or not. Unfortunately, that was the end of the series and the episode, so we don't know what happened after that.
What do we do now?
So that left Maggie, the new slider, Dr. Davis, and Quinn's double, who was supposed to have part of the original Quinn inside somehow, since the beginning of the 5th season, where the original Quinn merged with him during a slide. Colin was said to be unstuck in the multiverse, which meant he was not anchored to any world. Now this happened on the same slide that merged the Quinns together. The Sliders was a brilliant concept, really, and it had some great episodes and some really bad episodes. I wish I could say I would love to see a reboot, but in the current creative climate of Hollywood, it probably wouldn't be that good. It's really simple though. They just need to stick to telling stories featuring the different worlds and possible directions our world could have went. It's basically a show that should be like a lesson in history and what if. And just skip the monster stuff. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks, and have a great day.